Hello there, Imef here, and I'm back with some more ComputerCraft, and today I'll be doing a tutorial dedicated to objects. So what is an object? Basically an object is a type of data which is used to modelize pretty much everything in the world. So it can basically modelize a human and any entity. In fact, Minecraft has tons of objects. It has a player, it has every single block, it has beds, every entity like wolves, chickens, zombies, anything. And each object has some specific characteristics. So let me first of all show you in Lua a few fun things you can do with tables. So let's declare a table, which as usual we'll call it T, but you can name it whatever you want. And instead of putting some, or just some values inside of a table, we'll put some variable names, like how about age, and we'll set that to 18, and name, which will be set, I don't know, how about to Imef, and I am not at all self-centered. And if you have a look at T index 1, it will say nil, so it means there's absolutely nothing. Why is that? Because by doing that you didn't actually store a value in the first position of the table. You actually declared a variable within the table, which doesn't have a fixed position, it doesn't have an index, but it has, however, well, it's kind of like a variable within the table, and it's I don't have a proper explanation, but when you do t dot and then the name of variable you declared inside the table, like that, it will return the value you actually declared it to be. And you can also do t dot age, and it will return Imef like I actually declared here. So this can give tons of ideas, and this is actually used for objects. So let me have a look, well, let us have a look at an object I created. I call it person, and this is basically to modelize a person, like any person. It's very simplistic, a very simplistic way to modelize any person. I gave a name and an age. So there are several steps in making an object. So the first step, right here you see from this line to this line, which is line 17, it's basically a table which contains a whole bunch of functions, so I will come back to that later. Then we have those 3 lines, well 5 lines rather. It's a table which contains well, a few variables, and finally you have a function which is called new, and I really recommend you call this function new because it is kind of a convention and all programmers use that. And as arguments you put some initializing values like name and age. So basically when you call the function, or the new function, it will create an object which will have a specific name and a specific age. And if you have a look inside the function, it will declare the object P, and it will have the name and the age. So there's no conflicting between the name here and both names here. The name here will be the name which will be inside of a table, and the name here is the name given here. So the way you should interpret that, if no name is given, it will set the name to an empty string, and if no age is given, it will set the age to 0. That's the only way you should interpret that. Set meter table, basically, first of all I should explain what a meter table is. This right here, the local person empty whatever thing there, that's the meta table, and the meter table, in the way I see things, is probably not a good way, but basically a meter table is a table which gives a pattern on how an object is, or what the architecture of an object, or of a specific object is. So in the meta table you have several variables, and here you only need one, which is underscore index, and yes, it always has to be underscore index, otherwise it will not work. And underscore index will take the value of person, and in this case, and in every single case, it has to be the name of the table you first declare right here, and always, absolutely always, otherwise it will not work. So yes, now you pretty much know what the meta table is, and what it does is that it will copy the pattern of the person object into P, which has been declared right here, and finally it will return P, and I'll show you basically why it returns P. Basically it will be used to store p into a variable. So finally, let's have a look at the table at the top. So we have three functions: set name, set age, and print person. And so the way I call a function, well, declare functions, is I put first the name equal function parentheses with arguments, and the first argument always and absolutely always has to be self. There always has to be at least one variable name, and I happen to call it self. And self will designate the object, well, a specific object. For example, admitting you have an object stored in a variable called p, and don't ask me why I call it p. Basically, where you call a function is by doing p colon the name of a function, and you do not write self. You would directly write the second argument's name, which will be str. So you'll have to put a string. Now then, set name will basically change the name of a specific object. Set age will set the name, not the name, the age, and print person will print my name is, give a name of the object, and my age is, and give the age. So that's pretty much all for architecture. I really recommend you actually check out some tutorials online. There aren't, well, some of them are actually hard to understand, but pretty much everywhere you'll see the same pattern on how to declare an object. First of all, this first table, which has a name of the object. Then we have another table which will be the med table, and most of the time it will have underscore index, and then some of them will have some other variables, but don't care about those. You at least need the underscore index. And finally it will have a function which will most of the time be called new and have some initializing stuff. So yes, now let's go to Lua once more and try to use those functions. So first all you want to do is do os.load API, because the object has not been loaded yet into the computer. So the file is called person, so you just want to load person, and then what you want to do is in a variable, so let's call it player, you want to do person.new, and what this will do, it will create a new object which will be of a type person, and it will store the object in player. So to initialize, you can, or you may or may not put anything, so you can actually declare an object like that, but most of the time you want to actually give an initializing value. So how about put player 1, and the player 1 will be age 16, and yeah, so if you can actually check the variables within player by doing player.name, so the name will be player 1 as wanted, and the age will be 16 as wanted too. So you can actually now use the three functions I actually created, which are set name, set age, and print person. So let's start with set name. So the way you use it, you use the name of variable which contains the object. So in this case it will be players, but you can declare any other name. So it will be player colon, as I said, set name, and we want to set the name to Imef, so that would be me. And so if you actually check out player.name, it will say the new name is Imef. We can also set the new age by doing set age, and my age is 18 currently. Soon, my birthday will be in less than a month, so I have that. And if you have a look at player.age, we have 18 now, and not 16 as declared right here. Here I meant. And finally, if we want to use the last function, it's pretty much the same. It's person colon print person, and no arguments. So as you notice, in the object, even though I added some variables called self, basically when you put the colon, it will not take into account the self variable in the file. It will, because the self will kind of represent the person you actually program name. Actually, it's not person colon, it's player colon. The self will actually be, in this case, player. And will say, my name is Imef, my age is 18. I actually should have written my age is 18 years old. Never mind. So, as a recap, to declare an object once it is properly programmed, you want to do is first of all the name of the object, whatever. Then the name of the object. So in this case, it is person dot, and then in most cases it is new. Such convention. That's the name of the function you declared all the bottom of the file, and then all the initializing variables. So we have the name and the age. So let's do 20 for this last example. So you can directly access the values by doing p dot name of the variable. So in this case it would be name, get name and age, which will be 20. And finally, to call a function which uses the object, you do the name of the object, or the name of the variable containing the object rather, colon the name of the function, and as an argument you put all arguments besides the self as declared. So as an example, let's use set name to how about Jeff, oh no, Steve. There we have it. So in when it was declared in file, it was something like self, comma and stuff, but like I said, you do not put the self, because the self will actually be a variable right here. And if you have a look at p dot name, it is now Steve. So yes, that will be all for objects today. Have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you have any suggestions, ideas, let me know too. And I don't know, if you want me to do a specific tutorial, let me know too in the comment section, because I'm always interested in knowing what you want me to do, believe it or not. And since this is the end, I'll be saying goodbye and see you next time.